Good morning. I hope this video reaches you in good health and happy times. Reason for the video, I just finished up my morning dump. I hope that you did too. Know that this is probably a new concept for a lot of people. It was a new concept for me a couple years ago whenever I first came across it. Whenever I first came across it, I just had like a really low self-esteem. I didn't have any idea what discipline was. And in fact, if you had asked me what discipline was a couple years ago, I would have told you it was some form of punishment. I relate that back to my childhood. If I was acting in a certain way that was not favorable to the adults in the room, then, I might hear the term, this child needs discipline. Discipline was always followed by some kind of punishment. So as I came into my adulthood, I would avoid discipline, self-discipline, all that, like, why do I want to abuse myself? Why do I want to punish myself? Like, my existence is already punishment enough already. Like, I can't handle another layer of it. Well, the realization came to me one day whenever I was washing the dishes. For my entire life, I could never stand washing the dishes. It was always horrible. And, going back to my childhood, it was always used as a form of punishment. Whenever I wasn't following the rules of the house, I had to go wash the dishes, had to vacuum the floor, had to do these chores. And so as I came into adulthood, it became a bit of a source of dysfunction for me because they always had this connotation or framework around them that they were punishment. So it was a couple years ago, I was sitting there washing the dishes and I started asking the questions. See, it's so important that we ask questions. See, for my whole life, I always approach the dishes, this sucks, this is discipline. All my possibilities were limited on that. Whenever I started to ask myself the questions, why do I hate washing the dishes? The truth just kind of appeared for me. It's like, well, because this is what you've always told yourself. You hate washing dishes because you tell yourself you're washing dishes. And so I started really thinking about that. Why? I like eating on clean dishes. If I have even if it's my own food junk, not a whole lot of people eat off of my dishes. Even if it's my own food, I will not eat off of a dirty plate. If I see some old dried crusty food on there, into the sink it goes. It's getting washed again. But I don't like washing dishes, yet I want to eat off of clean dishes. Doesn't really make sense, does it? So sort of spend some time with that, and that's what I found. My whole opinion about washing dishes formed out of being punished as a child, nothing further than that. So as things have developed under that realization, I actually find washing dishes kind of therapeutic. And in fact, before I do my morning pages while my coffee is brewing, I usually don't start my morning pages until I've washed the dishes that are in the sink from the night before. Just doing that, it's a practice. And in my mind, whenever I'm washing the dishes, I'm washing the dirt off of the dishes and I'm washing the dirt out of my spirit. It's a little scrubbing, It's a little meditative practice. As soon as I'm done washing the dishes, I've got my first cup of coffee poured. I come down, I sit, I say a little prayer to myself. I take a deep breath, try to clear out all the junk, and I pull out my notebook and I start writing my morning dump. One thing that I find very important if you're going to start doing this, and I hope you do, it'll really change your life. I always start my morning dump by wishing myself a good morning and by thanking myself for being here. I think that that's really common for a lot of us, that we want people to notice us. We want to be appreciated. We want people to wish us good morning and acknowledge our existence. Do it for yourself. Sounds a little silly, but so is like tearing ourselves up and being crippled underneath all the weight of emotion that we carry around with ourselves every day. Which one's sillier? So, whenever you start getting into this stuff and if you start doing the morning dump, you're going to sit there and you're going to start trying to write things out. You're going to get cramped up. You're going to hit blocks and you're going to hit these all or lost moments like, oh, I'm just doing this wrong. That's the point. You're doing it wrong. But the real point is like you just spoke the truth. You're doing it. So do it wrong because you're actually doing it. So what's the alternative? Not doing it at all? So what you're doing is that feeling, oh, I'm doing it wrong. That's the little mechanism that has so much control over all these little aspects of my life, your life, all of our lives. Whenever we don't meet our potential, whenever we have these little dreams and we have these fantasies and, oh, that would be cool to do, but all the excuses come in and then we sideline ourselves and we never show up for ourselves. Yet come Monday morning, we show up to work on time. We show up to other people's schedules on time, but somehow we find it okay to deprioritize or not make any priority for our own. So if you sit down every single morning, make yourself the priority, have the conversation with yourself. That's kind of what this morning dump is all about. Another aspect that I've uncovered it, I kind of think about it like weight training in the weight room. Maybe fitness is something that's pretty common for most people. And if you've ever had a really hard workout and it's just that focus and just one more, one more, one more. That's probably one of the most common phrases in the weight room. One more. Morning dumps is the same thing. We're just training our mind to stop getting hung up on all of these little insignificant little ideas and thoughts and things that just keep diverting ourselves, and they end up becoming this little mind loop that races our mind in these little circles and we don't get anywhere. So if you sit down every single morning and you start challenging yourself, it's going to get frustrating at times. I can't tell you how many times I've been a page and a half, 2 pages in, and this well of emotion. It's my past self. It's I see something that I just get overcome by something. I can't tell you how many times I've just scribbled my pen across the page. Fuck this shit. How many times I've ripped a page out of the book and thrown it across the house and gone walking outside. And that's a little scary because I look at myself as like, dude, where's that come from? Are you going to be like on the next episode of Nightline? Or, we all have some shadows and we all have anger and we all have darknesses. But, if we don't accept that, and if we don't see the power that those parts of us hold, and we just try to subdue it and we try to oppress it because we're scared of it, and what does this mean, and what's this going to bring out, as we do that, we're actually feeding that thing the very thing that it thrives off of. We're pushing it with negativity. Think back to your younger child. Somebody told you to shut up. How'd that make you feel? Oh, shut up. Oh, it makes you feel uncomfortable. Your little emotional sides and like your creative threads and the things that make you, they don't know any different. They don't know if it's you saying it and they don't know if it's somebody else saying it. Alls they hear is shut up, invalid. They can't differentiate between the two. Our emotional sides are very vulnerable. I think you know that. If you spend some time with it, you'll know it. When somebody says something to you that's hurtful, and especially if it's somebody that you love, doesn't it hit you kind of deep? Even if you know that they didn't mean it, even if you know that this person has had a bad day, even if you know that they're struggling, whenever they say something to you, your emotions don't really know the difference. Your feelings still get hurt. So take some time and understand um, that us spending some time with ourselves, it's going to feel a little bit silly. It's going to feel a little bit weird, maybe a little bit gross, but that's the thing. Those feelings are manifesting in all these other areas of your life, just kind of in some different ways, but they're all feeding the dysfunction that you're feeling. So I really really encourage you to take some time, show up for yourself, write some pages. And if you need anything, holler. I'll be happy to walk you through it.